Welcome back to another episode of Port City Living, Egos and Escrows. I'm your host, Bill Corbett. I am a local real estate agent serving the greater Wilmington, North Carolina area, and my co-host is Brad Brown. He is a mortgage specialist with Atlantic Bay Mortgage, and today we're going to talk about home inspections. And this is sort of a hot topic for me because, obviously home inspections aren't required when you buy a home. But highly recommended.
Highly recommended.
Because if you're going to buy a home, you want to know if there's any major problems. And I use the word major because if you hire a good home inspector, and you, the buyer, can hire whoever you want. Most of the time, most people don't know of a home inspector, so I always refer those people to the people that I use. And it's their job as a home inspector to find every little thing wrong. Everything. And so your report, when you get it back, is going to look like a bloodbath.
Yeah.
It's going to look scary because there's going to be a lot of things on there. Now, my particular home inspector that I use, it does a really good job in his report of color coding. So you look at the things that are an issue, but then you look at the things that are coded in red that are like a hazard. Mm-hmm. And so I tend to look at those things first. But here's the deal and the dirty about home inspections. I think most buyers need to calm down when it comes to the home inspection. I'm serious. Calm your asses down because you get so overwhelmed by everything. And I literally have had buyers in the past that wanted everything fixed by the seller on the home inspection. And guys, that is not ever going to happen. You can't do that. That's not the way this works. And you got to keep in mind that, this is how I educate my buyers, is that we comb through the home inspection. I get it, you get it, and we comb through it together and then pull out the things that are big ticket items that are going to affect you down the road. And when I say big ticket, I'm talking about an older HVAC, but even if the HVAC is older, if it's working, you don't really have anything to worry about. Now, we could always do a home warranty, which we'll talk about later. If it's not working, that's a big ticket issue. If you've got leaking pipes, that's a big ticket issue. If you've got mold, huge issue. If you've got sagging floor joists, if you've got a sagging roof, or if you've got a leaking roof, these are the big things that you need to really think about and really focus on. What we don't need to focus on is
light switch cover.
a cracked light switch cover, or a receptacle that's loose in the wall, or, for God's sake, this GCFI outlet things. Oh my God, they're on every report, y'all. Let me just tell you, okay? A GCF outlet is the kind that they put in the kitchen and bathrooms, and you push the little button to reset them. There is a point in time where this was never a thing. Okay.
I mean, can we even go back and say as little as 20 to 25 years ago?
Maybe even not that far ago. Okay. It was not a thing. It's a thing now, and all new homes have them. Older homes don't have them. And now, I may be wrong about this, but the way this was explained to me, your house has to be wired for them. Okay, so you can't just slap a GCFI outlet in the kitchen and call it a day.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. But here's the thing: if a house is 60 years old, it's 60 years old and it hasn't burned down yet, it'll be fine.
It will be.
Okay, we just talked about this off the air about this very thing about electrical stuff. So we're going to get inspection reports back from homes that my parents bought a home in Burgall that was built in the 50s. None of the electrical is up to date, and that was a sticking point for them and on the home inspection. And to get a home rewired to today's standards it's not $1,000.
Right. It's not
It's
cheap.
expensive, and it's not. So you got to think about these things when you're going through the report, and what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, and together with your good favorite real estate agent are going to help you maneuver through this. And honestly, the whole concept of sellers fixing things for buyers is a courtesy.
Right, because here's the thing.
They're not required to fix anything, because in the contract, in the North Carolina contract, buyer agent, the the contract. What am I trying to say? The contract. It states in there that you're buying the home as is. So that they don't. Nobody has to fix anything.
Right.
This has become this thing of a courtesy to get the deal closed, and I'll do whatever it takes to get the deal closed. Well, I feel like buyers are really taking advantage of that fact. Now, having said that, and then I'll let you go, Brad. I know you're chomping at the bit. Having said that, yes, there are some things that if you're gonna sell a house at a certain price point and it's higher, and you're trying to get what everybody else is getting, but you've got sagging roof, sagging floors, HVAC system doesn't work. Obviously, this is not working. There's a disconnect here, you know. So there needs to be some kind of compensation. What does that look like? Well, it could be many things. It could be, you know, they come down on the purchase price. So you renegotiate the contract price, or it could be that they'll go in and fix it all, or they'll give you a credit for some things at closing, which is what you would be involved in.
Yeah.
What were you going to say? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, for whatever reason, if these are known issues in the house and the seller hasn't fixed them, do you really think they're going to fix them?
Do you really think they're probably not going to?
not.
They're probably not going to negotiate with
That's
you at all. Yeah, and that brings up another point too, is that if you're selling a home, sometimes it might be smart to get a pre-home inspection just so you'll know what you're up against, especially if you know your home is older and you can tell when your home has problems and issues. You can feel it. You know there's issues, and it might be a good idea to go ahead and nip those things in the bud before you even put the house on the market. And that way, if anything does come up on the inspection, you can say, well, this, and this has been addressed. We've already, and then you can potentially get your better price because you've taken care of all these issues. And so again, we're back to the buyer though. It's very important that we don't nitpick sellers to death over small little. I mean, I've literally have had people say, you know, the bedroom door doesn't latch. I want it fixed. You know, the screen's missing in the front window. I want a screen put in.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You know, I just it boggles my mind.
I take all the screens out because they're not attractive.
I had buyers one time that I showed them a billion properties one summer. This is when I was working in the Charlotte market, and I showed them every single home, just what they asked for. Everything was in the home that they asked for, and they had this sticking point about screens in the windows. They had to have screens in every window, and if they didn't, they would not even consider buying the house. And I could not understand that crazy little piece of it, and it drove me insane. I finally had to fire them because I was like, I'm not showing you any more houses. And guess what, people? Agents can fire their sellers or their buyers, both actually. So don't think it's only one way, you know. So back to the point. Be mindful of your home inspection. It is highly recommended that you get one so you know what you're going into. But just remember that you need to be looking at the big stuff. Don't worry about these other little things. You're not buying a brand new home, and even if you are, they've got their problems too.
They do.
I always recommend you get a home inspection, even on new construction, and I have had reports come back with lots of issues on even brand new construction homes.
Yeah.
And I'll add, since we're talking about home inspections and you're going into new construction, I even tell my people, get a home inspection about 11 months in, because you're protected by that builder's warranty for 1 year. There's things you don't see happening. So get that inspection, make sure you're feeling good before your 1 year runs out.
Oh, for sure. You mean after they've closed? Is that what you mean?
They've closed.
Yeah. So after you've closed on a new construction home, you have a 1 year warranty with the builder, typically. And so it is a good idea to hire your own inspector or hire the same inspector again to come back right before that and let them do an inspection for you, because, you know, I'm not saying that there's dishonest people, but, you know, some builders may send somebody over and they not get it all.
Just
you know,
get it done.
I'm not saying that can happen, but it can happen. So that's what we have for you on that, home inspections. Just be mindful. Don't nitpick people. There's no point in it. It doesn't get you anywhere. And a good agent's going to walk you through that area. I know that's a sticking point for a lot of people, and it's scary when you see a home inspection report that's pages long and it looks completely overwhelming. And I get it. It is overwhelming, but it's typically not anywhere near as bad as you think it is or it looks.
Exactly.
Yeah. And, you know,
They're just doing their job.
they're doing their job, and that's what they're supposed to do. And a good inspector is going to find every little thing.
So throw it out there with your experience. What's the average cost for a home inspection so people know?
About 600
I was
ish.
thinking 650.
650, yeah,
Okay.
675, somewhere along there. Yeah, so
So
it's
you want to get what you pay for.
right. And I'm not to get off topic because we're really trying to make this podcast about one specific thing, but just remember, there's a couple of things that you have to pay for outside of closing, or you pay for it, not at closing. So the home inspection is one of them. So just be prepared when you're going to buy a house that you're going to need to pay the home inspector before it's released, and we'll obviously need to see that up front as soon as it's done. And I'm one of those agents that as soon as we're in a contract, I jump on that immediately. I mean, I don't let that lag.
Yeah.
The other thing you'll pay for up front is your appraisal, and is
Most of the time.
Sometimes?
It,
Okay.
It varies from person to person.
okay. But those two, well, especially the home inspection. So just be mindful of that, and that's all we have for you on home inspections.
Yeah.
So if you like what you heard, give us a thumbs up. Please consider following our podcast and share it with your friends and family, or especially those who are thinking about buying and selling. And we love your feedback too. If you got some feedback and you want to throw your 2 cents in,
Do it.
do it. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, everybody, this is Bill with Port City Living, and we'll talk to you soon. See you next time. Bye.